Well, that 76ers game went horribly. I will say, after starting off 14-4, the Sixers were able to win the first quarter 29-28. Watching the game, there was a shot of optimism. The 76ers' chances of winning the game had climbed over 50%, and there seemed to be a realistic probability that the 76ers could pull it off. Their lead expanded as much as 33-36, and they overcame that initial 10-point deficit. However, in the beginning of the second quarter, the Boston Celtics were able to close the gap, take the lead, and expand the lead. After the 76ers narrowed it down to 1 point, 45-44, the Celtics were able to explode and make a 57-50 halftime lead. Essentially, a classic 76ers second quarter collapse. Now, in case that score at halftime seems familiar, that's because that's what happened in Game 2 as well. Now, in Game 3, the Sixers didn't want quite as bad, but they still denigrated and they still lost the remaining 2 quarters. In the third quarter, there's actually a chance with the 76ers probability of winning the game had shot up to 49%. And the reason why I was able to shoot up so quickly to 49 was from down in the 20s was because the 76ers were able to close the gap to 74-72, which was impressive considering how it was just 72-65 moments before. But moments after, it was 83-76. Just as quickly as the 76ers made it a one-score game, the Celtics expanded their lead right back to where it was. And again, their chances of winning the game fell right back into the 20s after it nearly hit 50. All right, classic 76ers fourth quarter comeback setup. But instead, the Sixers went on to lose 114-112. They further struggled in the fourth quarter. Boston was able to retake their first 10-point lead since the beginning of the first quarter. And they were able to hold it down as well until eventually, it was Celtics victory in the end. This was a really bad loss for the 76ers. If the 76ers had won, they would have retaken the driver's seat in the series. Now, their chances of moving on past the series are down at 21%. The Celtics now not only have a 79% chance of winning the series, but their chances of winning the NBA Finals is in the 40s now. Their chance of winning the NBA Finals is now in the 40s. There is nearly a 1 in 2 chance that the Celtics move on to win the NBA Finals. But why do I say it like this? Well, first of all, for the 76ers, they used to be considered the second most powerful team behind the Celtics. Obviously, them getting stuck with the Celtics was bad. But they were the second most powerful team behind the Celtics. Now they're in fourth. And their chance of winning the NBA Finals is only 9%. And that's mainly because they have a very low chance of moving on from the second round, that it makes it, when you think about it, nearly impossible for them to move on from that. So, of course, their chances are going to be lower. So the Denver Nuggets and the Philadelphia 76ers were kind of exchanging positions for second place, but now the Golden State Warriors also possess a better chance than the Philadelphia 76ers to win it all. So we are more likely to see a 6-seed win than the Sixers. That's how you know things are bad. And the Celtics have only improved on their chances. Again, getting it into possibly the 50s now. I haven't checked, but there's a good chance that their probability of victory is over 1 and 2. Now, a lot of this is also depending on the Heat-Knicks series. Now, with all the Knicks fans rooting against the Sixers in hopes of playing the Celtics, has made it hard for Sixers fans to root for the Knicks. That and also Knicks fans have rooted me in general. I kind of actually like the Miami Heat more, but I do need the Knicks to kind of win here so they can play the Celtics. Now, I think that Jimmy Butler is capable of putting on a victory against the Celtics. They were 2-2 this season, but the Knicks were able to sweep the Celtics. So I trust the Knicks more than the Heat, although if the Heat are against the Celtics, I think that the Heat does possess a chance to beat Boston. And we can see an 8-seed advance to the conference finals. To the NBA finals. And yes, the conference finals will be a rematch of last year if that manages to happen. So again, it wouldn't be refreshing really because it literally just would have happened, but I still think that we could see it happen, that scenario. So, as far as the Knicks Heat series goes, the Knicks lost 106-85 today, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 105-86. I think it was 105-86. So, now the Miami Heat chances of winning the series are up at 74%. So, more likely than not, we are going to see the Miami Heat win the series at this point. Their chances of winning the NBA Finals is actually, I think, right around where the Sixers' chances are, mainly because they have a good chance of getting into the conference finals, but a very bad chance of getting out of them, which I guess is 538 kind of foreshadowing that they do predict that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to lose to the Celtics. I guess that's kind of what their prediction is, that the Heat are probably going to lose to the Celtics. When you look at it, given how the Celtics at this point have a 63% chance of representing the Eastern Conference, which again really limits who else can come in. Miami is up at 17%. Sixers coming at 15%. The Knicks at this point have almost no chance because even if they make it into the conference finals, they're then probably going to get squashed by the Celtics. And why do I say this? The Knicks were able to sweep the Celtics this season. Well, what makes it difficult for the Knicks is first of all, if they have a bad chance of moving on against the Heat, yeah. Also, if they're in a really bad series with the Heat, they might not be as healthy as if the Celtics can take down the Sixers in 5 games. At this point, I think the Celtics are going to win in 6 games because I do think that the Sixers will be able to steal one more game this series. I think they'll be able to get one more game in, but that's really about it. Meanwhile, the Knicks Heat series I kind of see as more of a series that goes the full distance. And series going the full distance usually means that a team that is victorious generally has a harder time. Now in football, we don't notice this. It's one game and it's over, and you have such a long rest period that you don't experience it. But generally, really bad series that are ugly and they go the full distance, the winner tends to not win in the next round. It's kind of like in politics how when you have a really competitive primary, sometimes the winner of that primary struggles to move on. I think a big reason why Biden was able to win the election was because pretty much everyone backed out of his way and were able to fully endorse him to get Trump out. And Hillary Clinton, meanwhile, still had firm opposition from Bernie Sanders, who refused to fully get behind her, and that's part of the reason why she lost. Anyway, not to get political. I do think that this series, the winner's going to struggle to take on the Celtics, who are going to probably be a powerful, dominant team. The Celtics might be able to take down the Sixers in 5 games. Something that the Sixers cannot do. The Sixers are going to struggle even if they make it on in a miracle. And I think that as far as the Celtics go, they'll probably be able to hand down the Miami Heat a defeat in a series. They could probably also take the Knicks down too if it came to it, because I feel like all the Celtics have to do is learn from their mistakes, and they can improve on it. A big part of Game 3 was the Sixers learning about their mistakes from Game 2, but then the Celtics realizing that they learned about their mistakes and getting their act together. At this point, the Celtics are a force to be reckoned with. I don't think that they're going to let their guard down against any team that they face, because I think that they just see it as too risky. I don't think that they're going to even give a chance of loss. They're going to be as powerful as possible and make it really hard for the other team to score on them. Now, I think that the offense of Jimmy Butler might be able to push through that, but if Joel Embiid couldn't, what's to say that Jimmy Butler can? I don't think that the Knicks offense will be able to penetrate against this now improved Boston Celtics team. And I think that if the Celtics were like this whole season, they probably would have gotten the 1 seed, which actually would have been better for the 76ers, because then we would have taken on the Milwaukee Bucks probably. I don't see the Bucks losing to the Atlanta Hawks. But I think that with the way the Bucks fell to the Heat, I think they would have fallen to Philadelphia as well. We would have finally made it into the 3rd round. I mean, I was trying to avoid this comparison, but we're cursed, just like the Cowboys. We can't make it out of the 2nd round in over 2 decades, even when the opportunities fall flat on their face. The Cowboys, they've also gotten the number 1 seed before. Look at 2016. They still could not move on past it. They still could not move on past getting the number 1 seed back in 2016. So, I mean, when you look at it that way, you can really begin to see the comparisons. And I just think that it's a problem. The 76ers had such a good opportunity 2 years ago, and it's ruined. And now when they're starting to be dominant again, now they're in a bad situation. So, do I see this curse ending anytime soon? I don't think so. Do I think it's a curse at this point? Yes, I do. Refs were definitely not helping in this game. The refs were definitely not helping. And that's actually surprising that I'm blaming it on the refs, because normally Philadelphia at this stadium means that the refs have an advantage. Now, I guess the refs, if they're being heavily scrutinized and were told that they would be fired if they made bad calls, would lean slightly on the side of caution, but that doesn't mean support the Celtics. And I'm one that normally does not like to blame it on the refs, but seeing the officiating on this one, it seemed subpar to me. It seemed subpar to me. Well, at least it hit 70 degrees today. First time the city hit 70 in 13 days. On Long Island, it was the first time we hit 70 in 22 days. Mainly because that stretch where we were able to get, actually the city was the first time in 15 days, that stretch though, where we were able to, where the city was able to get into the upper 60s, it kind of struggled here. So, that is always a nice thing.